So I guess let's get started. Good, well, for some people afternoon, for some people morning. I am CosmicKeyframe. I usually look at point A, point B, and everything in between. But today I am baking because do you guys really want another analyst panel or reviewing panel at a con? I know I don't. So today I want to help you guys because I know that being inside causes severe boredom, idle hands, idle time, and extra inches. I'm not going to help with the last part because this will definitely give you the extra inches, but it tastes good. And I think at this point, any serotonin going into our brains would be great. So today we are making Rainbow Dash lemon lime cupcakes. And I will be making two versions of them. One is the normie version for people who don't have a baking cabinet as full as some people. And the other ones will be made from scratch. And before we start, I want to thank the Brony chef, who you may have saw on this stage earlier today, making Detroit-style chili dogs. He actually helped me make a base white cake recipe that I altered a bit. And the frosting recipe we will be making today. He is a great guy. Follow him on Twitter. I think he released some quarantine recipes recently on Twitter, and he has a TeePublic open. Service industry people like cooks and chefs, as well as freelance people like me, are not having a great time being in lockdown with the lack of cons and stuff. And I want to thank PonyFest for giving us a stage and giving us support. Now let's start baking. So we are going to start with the simple 7-Up cake, which is basically 2 ingredients, which is white cake mix and a special secret ingredient that I will reveal. So, I also want to announce as I'm opening this, I will be doing some giveaways this stream. Now my Twitter is @CosmicKeyframe, and I want you guys to tweet me what you are baking along with me today, whether it is the cupcakes, brownies, I don't know, filet mignon. I want to see what you guys make, and I will be selecting one of those random people for 3 different items. 3 people will be getting a different reward. We have a still in box Funko Pop Pearl from Steven Universe, a now one-of-a-kind keyframe shadow box provided by Sam O'Lion, who is in the vendor hall today. And finally, a signed Day of the Dead copy of the first issue of Fiendship is Magic. So if you guys would like any of those items, be sure to tweet at me your recipes with the hashtag BakeWithKey. So I will also be looking at the questions in the Neural Net question chat if you guys have any questions. So the first thing we're going to do is open up our white cake mix and just stick it in our bowl. Now this is the true easy mode of our cakes. Now, time for the secret ingredient. Lemon lime soda. Now follow me on this. This adds so much moisture to your cupcakes. It adds a nice little sweet, tangy flavor while still being subtle. And it helps with the vibrancy of our colors that we will be using today. Now you're going to want 1 cup of lemon lime soda, and enjoy the annoyance of waiting for fizz to go down so you can see if you've made an accurate measurement. And we are just going to pour it into our cake mix. And if you have an egg beater or a hand mixer, you will mix it until it's just combined. You do not want to overmix cake mix. Or if you are a Chad like me, you mix it with a whisk. Now, as I'm mixing, if you have any questions, please let me see in the chat. I would love to answer you people and talk, because baking should be a social activity. And if you don't ask me questions, I'm just going to start rambling. And there's only so much entertainment that comes from a random woman on the internet baking. I see people are typing. Woo boy. I don't have pre-made mix. What do I do? Well, Melody, I will be making a from scratch mix right after we do this recipe. I am doing 2 recipes today for the Rainbow Dash cupcakes. So hold on to your butts. I just want to get the easy recipe out of the way first, so that way we can get to the fun stuff. This is the reason why it's an hour-and-a-half long panel. Do you like baking bread? I have been fond of making no-knead dough in the evening, setting it overnight and baking it for breakfast. I've recently gone into baking bread. I made a cinnamon swirl bread a few weeks ago that was really nice. My next thing is to make like bagels. So like my favorite bagels are like onion bagels. And the thing about that, see, the best part about making things for yourself, you get to be a little bit not sanitary. Don't do that though if you're cooking them for other people. No one wants your germs. Wash your hands. I washed my hands before this. So as we could see, everything is just mixed. I'm going to put my whisk in my cleaning water. The thing about over mixing your cake is that the more you mix, the denser your cake is going to be, because you're not putting enough air in it, if I remember correctly. You also don't want to put too much eggs in your cake, or else you get the density of like quiche or mochi. And that's only appetizing for quiche and mochi. Now we get to the fun part. So if you have more bowls than I do, this will be so much easier, but we're going to use paper bowls for the sake of convenience. You're going to want to separate your batter into different colors. And you can make as many or as little colors as you want. I am doing the entire Roy G. Biv with added pink because of Rainbow Dash, even though Rainbow Dash says, I don't have pink in my main. Well, it's the pony show. If you don't have pink in the pony show, what are you? Planning on continuing Simpsons Hit and Run? I do plan on doing that. Favorite type of food, chef you look up to? Pizza. I love pizza. That is my favorite food of all time. If I don't have pizza in my veins at least a couple times a month, I'm not me. For I am very Italian. Believe it or not. I am, my dad's side of the family, bless his soul, is mostly Sicilian, 100% Sicilian. But my mother was Irish-Hungarian, and that Irish just fought its way to my skin tone. Can spaghetti I'm making for lunch count? Sure. I'm randomly picking the winners, so they can be anything. You can make a Lunchable and qualify, because at least you're making something. Now you're going to want to evenly, as even as you can, distribute your batter into your separate bowls. Honestly, this is the most bothersome part of it, because cake batter is thick with like 5 C's. So you may have leftover batter, but that's okay, because you can make as many batches as you want. Usually this wields about 10 cupcakes. If you're being really sparse with your batter, where you're not filling the cake pan up enough, probably more. But I like filling them. I like stuffing things like a clown car. How we all doing? Y'all doing good? I'm going to check the neural net stage. I just want those bananas. You can't have them. They're mine. Every vegan gangsta until eggs are required. Well, luckily, these don't require eggs. I'm 80% sure 7-Up is vegan. I don't know what animal products they would be putting in Sody Pop, but I'd be fascinated to know. Okay, so we got our cake batters all set out. Now, I have two different types of food coloring today. I'm using gel food coloring because I just think they get better colors. We will be using the pastel ones for the frosting. But we want colors that scream. So we're going to be using our primary colors and green. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to have just the Roy G. Biv. You can make pink if you want to. Honestly, the red sometimes just turns out pink if you don't put enough red in it. So we're just going to squizzle dizzle our food colorings into our separate ones. Now this is the part where you need to remember your like kindergarten training of color mixing. If you want a very dark orange, you're going to want to have more red in your ratio of red to yellow. But I want a very clementine, sunny orange. So I'm going to be using more yellow than not. The yellow cake batter is beautiful. The one that I think looks the best, though, is blue, because the blue with the white cake mix turns cyan. So like Rainbow Dash's fur. And it's super lovely. Pink is just boneless red. Okay. You know what? That is a good one. Let me go back to the questions chat. You have any questions? Let me know. So we're going to take, so we got, luckily though, we could make a pink because Roy G. Biv has indigo, and we don't really need indigo because, well, that's just diet purple. I don't care what anyone says. It's just diet purple. So we're going to take a tiny bit of red and make that pink. Beat the devil out of your whisk. I really just don't want to subject you guys to the sound of the sink, because my sink is a literal demon. And we are going to have the food coloring and the cake batter get to know each other. And this may take a bit. You want to make sure that you get all the frosting in so there's no white spots. And you'll get a beautiful color. I think the food coloring brand I got was Betty Crocker. You know, usually safe bet. I mean, look at that red. That is a crime scene red. Indigo is overrated. You know what? Speak the truth, Nordic. Speak the truth. If anyone tells you that indigo is not overrated, they are drinking wrong juice. So we're going to, and I like to go in the scale of Roy G. Biv, because even if there's like a tiny bit of color left from your last color, it doesn't infect it as much because you're going from the light spectrum. Just slowly getting from the shortest waves to the longest waves. Oh yeah, that orange is nice. You just want to squeeze that into your juice when you have a cold. Or I don't know, Kel is screaming about how much he loves it. He does. You can post the recipe for chili dogs in here, Brony Chef. I totally allow that. Mostly because I like you. That answers the other question. Is there a chef I look up to? Brony Chef. I think he is a very neat dude. Funny story. The first time I actually met Brony Chef was at Dusty Cat's birthday. And then the second time at a BabsCon after party, and he couldn't remember who I was. But now he remembers, and now we're friends. Okay, so we're getting that yellow. And you don't need to have pastel food dye to make pastel colors. Just be really, really sparse with your food dye, because you can make a nice Easter pastel color with any of these. But again, we want our colors to scream. We want to look like we somehow inserted a circus into a cupcake. What? Really? Me? Yes. I mean, it was funny, so I don't find that bad. Oh, there's some questions in the neural nets things. Who's your favorite young sixth student and why? Mine is Ocellus. See, the thing, I think Yona. I love Yona's personality. And I like the fact, to go on that reviewer analyst route that I am acclaimed for, I really like that the young six are not just the next generation representations of the main six. Like, they don't represent perfectly the main six's elements. They radiate different aspects of friendship and just different personality traits that I think go into elements. Kind of like what the pillars were. Because I think that was a big fear that a lot of people had with the next generation that they were introducing into the pony show, and that they would just be, oh, this is Fluttershy, but a changeling. So I'm glad that they're kind of like hybrids. Like, Yona does radiate a pinky personality, but she has like the honesty of Applejack. I really like that, because I feel like that's a good representation of what happens when the next generation comes along. They're not going to be carbon copies. They are going to take different aspects of what they learn and make something of their own. And I think the show tackled that well. I would give Big Jim a nice, firm handshake. Hashtag was baking with Key, Flutter952. Is it okay to use actual lemon juice instead of lemon soda? Stick around for the homemade cupcakes, because we actually are using lemon juice in that one. And so I would recommend using that, because basically for the box cake mix, lemon lime soda is being a substitute for all the wet ingredients. So instead of eggs, water, and vegetable oil, you're using the lemon lime soda. So I wouldn't recommend just using lemon juice. The hashtag for the contest is hashtag baking with Key. So back to the neural net stage. We learned a lot of women love sea turtles in that cosplay. Haha. Yeah, poor Gallus. He's sad. Do you agree Cozy Chloe and Chrysalis should have been reformed? Tyrek, I classified as take it or leave it. Honestly, no. I think what would have been a better tackling for Chrysalis was making her a villain with a purpose. I need to put more blue in here. Like, I feel like the angle that they went, that she didn't even care about her hive, when they discovered that, you know, they can get just as much nourishment out of love and stuff, I feel like I would have appreciated it more if she was a villain for the sake of the greater good of her people, and she was so stuck in her ways that she couldn't accept that there was anything different. And that way, when her hive went against her, she viewed that as a betrayal and thus another motivation of you're with me or you're without me. I also think it's not very... I feel like there could have been more story opportunities with having changelings that didn't accept the new way of life. I mean, Pharynx was kind of that kind of that exception. You really want to get this next one clean since we're doing pink. I should have done the pink with the red. I didn't, oopsie. But, you know, what we got was good. We still got great stories and stuff, but that's my preference. Cozy Glow should just be a villain. I think like just how the young six are great representations of taking the good lessons to heart and making them their own. Cozy Glow is a great representation of the antithesis of that, using those lessons for the sake of manipulation and power. I am not aware of the dump cake recipe. If anything, this recipe is very reminiscent of actual 7-Up cake, which is usually made into a bundt cake or a pound cake. So we're just going to quickly mix up this pink, and then we will get to the even more tedious part. And then we will get to the fun thing of the homemade ones, because the homemade ones I'm excited to show you guys. But like I said, some people are still very novice at baking, but I think this recipe is simple enough, but has enough steps that you can get into it. It's not preschool. It's at least elementary, at least like 4th grade. So one thing we also need to do is make sure to preheat your oven to 375 if you have a shiny metal pan like I do. If you have a dark metal pan, you will preheat it to 350. So I am preheating that right now. And we will take our cupcake tin. Like I said, you're going to yield more cupcakes than 6, but for the sake of this, I'm only making 6. So take your little cupcake liners and we will just yeet them on in there. Just yoke them. How are you guys doing? More in their own that stage. Gallus is misunderstood. Gallus is a good boy. I'm talking in Fahrenheit. If you guys have a Celsius converter, please let me know. I am a dirty, filthy American, so I can't help you there with the Celsius land. I'm learning Celsius because A and Y, you know him. If you know me, you know him. You know, he's from German land. So he works in Celsius. And when he visits me, I have to tell him what the weather is here in California. And he's whoosh. So I have to be like, oh no, it's like 31 degrees Celsius. And he's like, how can you live there? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just do. You know, air conditioning, a pool, a big liking of heat, and not the opposite. So this is where we get to what will either be the most fun part or the most tedious part. And that is filling your cupcake tins. How do I start do I start preheating the oven already? Okay. Don't start preheating the oven if you're only going to work on the next recipe, because the next recipe is a different temperature for the oven. So don't start preheating it yet. This is the oven settings I just gave are just for the normie cakes. Could you use Sprite? Yeah, Sprite, any kind of lemon lime soda. You can use Sierra Mist, 7-Up, Sprite, Fresca, RC, lemon lime. It doesn't matter. But this is the fun part, because this is where you put the rainbow into your hands. Some people who are very Twilight, let's put it like that, will want to have them perfectly stacked. Thing is, I'm not Twilight minded at all. I am very much Pinkie Pie, chaotic. If you guys watch Jenna Marbles, I am very much a Julian in the kitchen. He does Aries kitchen. I do Pisces kitchen. It's like Aries kitchen, but more crying. Also, my hair is getting in my eyes, so let me put on my headband. And this is one of the few Brony items of clothing accessories that I have. You know, we're at a Brony convention. There's no embarrassment here. Do you have a favorite drink to use for an ingredient? I personally like using orange juice for a lot of recipes for sweetness. Lemonade, orange juice. I love like lemon tarts and all that. I like citrusy flavors. So we're just going to glob it in there. Like go from each color that you want and just glippity glop, gloppity gloop right into those cake tins. And you don't want to overfill them because then you'll get some really puffy boys and those may sink. Though even if you overfill them, we're going to be covering them in frosting later. So what's the point? So yeah, just glippity glop. You could focus on the sides, smooth them out so that way you get a perfect stack. It doesn't matter. You're inside. Of all probability, this is probably for you and maybe a roommate, maybe your parents. They'll just be appreciative that you made something. And you didn't just order Pizza Hut for the third night in a row. Excuse me 1 second. The heat in here is brutal. Keep your hands clean. Oh, you watch the person with the garbage dogs. How dare you, Brony Otaku? I already have some of these cupcakes and the homemade ones pre-made so you can get a look at them. Because, you know, there's no guarantee that in an hour and a half all these cupcakes will be done. We hope so, but there's no guarantee. I was actually pretty on point with the orange because now we are completely out of orange. So how are you guys doing? Let me talk to you guys. You guys are asking me questions. I get to ask you questions. So what have you guys been cooking while inside? Have you guys been learning something new? Just so bored with takeaway? I know that there are MLP cupcake wrappers, but they didn't have them in the grocery store I was at. Oh, this yellow is a beautiful yellow. See, I personally prefer to go the more warm colors on the bottom and the cool colors on the top because I think the blue and the green just pop really well for the top of the cupcakes. But you could do what you want. My hubby, Luke Garros, has been cooking tangine, various cakes, chocolate and cherry cake later. Ooh, nice. I've been cooking instant noodles. I failed. You know what's a fun thing to do with instant noodles? I did this recently. You take the instant noodles, and instead of using the flavoring packet, you make your own sauce. I made my own like spicy teriyaki sauce earlier, and I would love to learn how to make like that Korean red super spicy sauce that you see in like the food challenges. Because those look like they'll hurt me. And that's my goal with most savory foods is just, can it hurt me? Getting your noodle press cleaned up. Nice. Do you watch anime? Do you like Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, Zombieland Saga? I do watch some anime. I'm not as much of a weeb as some people. But, you know, I love me a My Hero. I love me a Space Dandy. I'm so hyped that Promare has come out on VOD a couple days ago, which is the first theatrical film by Studio Trigger, who makes Little Witch Academy, which I love. I love Little Witch. In fact, on my website store, CosmicKeyframes HQ, which you can find in the vendor hall channels if you look for my name, I have a poster of Amanda from Little Witch, and also Mina from My Hero. You know, but I also love Pokemon, Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon was one of my first cartoons I grew up with. But my favorite anime of all time, the only anime I would argue has influenced my art style, is Lupin the Third. Lupin the Third is the best anime of all time. And I will fight anyone that disagrees. Because I don't think there's a bad Lupin incarnation. Because you could say that there's good animes, but there's bad parts of those good animes. Like, One Punch Man is good for the first season. But, you know, I generally love Lupin. Its art style is like that classic 70s, 80s anime, which is my favorite anime art style. I am so happy that G-Kids got the distribution rights for the movie that came out in Japan last year. Can't wait to see who they get for the dub. We did a fan casting, me and aficionados Chris, and I was like, you know who would make a great Lupin? Ben Schwartz. And I started playing Ben Schwartz clips over Lupin footage, and they were like, oh man, it works. And it was fun. Let's see what you people are talking about. That be looking very sweet-tastic. Let's see. Ooh, Easter cake. I'm loving it. I'm loving that you guys are making things. I'm so happy to inspire the creativity. Now, like I said, this is the most tedious part. I know some people who are smarter than me would probably use piping bags, but I have a limited number of piping bags and a limited number of patience. If that's not a quote to put on a shirt, I don't know what is. That is the quote that will be on my epitaph. Just, I have a limited amount of piping bags and a limited amount of patience. Keyframe, 1997 to whenever. I need to get a haircut before I look like a caveman. Dude, I know that feel. I have such a big coif of hair. Because when I go to the hairstylist, I get an undercut, and this is growing in. But I get this trim, like this puff that I dye. And also, I haven't been able to go to a store that sells hair bleach, because this hair color is fading. And I want to do a new color spectrum. Because while I like this purple, red, and then to aqua blue, it's nice. But I personally, you know, I like changing stuff up. When it's getting to the summer months, I like going more warm colors. Like, I have an idea that I want to do, like, kind of like a burning sunset kind of thing. So, like, dark purple at the roots, going to red, bright orange, and yellow. You know. Priorities. I think that's the big lesson we've been learning, is priorities. We need Jotaro cupcakes. I wonder, Brony Chef, if you're still here, love to hear your thoughts. Are there such thing as like squid ink cupcakes where you make them like really dark black and the squid ink adds like kind of like a saltiness to it, and you kind of do it like kind of maybe a sea salt caramel cupcake would be the best because the caramel would complement the saltiness well? Because I know there's such thing as like squid ink spaghetti and all that. But yes, look at our battery little clown cars. We are going to put these in the oven for 12 minutes. But you do want to check them maybe 10 or 11 minutes in because we are deviating from the box ingredients, and that could mean life or death. And the general thing is to, you know, check them, give them a little bit of cold air to come through, see how they're rising, put a stick in it and see if it comes out clean. General cakey things. And you could set aside your leftover batter for later. I am definitely doing that with some of them so I can make extra batches because I do have some extra purple and blue and stuff. But let's clean up our workstation because now we get to the fun part of our homemade cupcakes, which I do have on here, but I want to show you guys, in case that those don't get done by the end of the panel, what the store-bought ones look. I accidentally kind of crushed this a bit. So as you can see, let me get over here. As you can see, they already have colors. You may see slight browning on the top, but that's okay because the real party is on the inside. Super vibrant, super saturated colors, very moist, fine crumbs. And it's very sweet. This is definitely the sweeter of the two because it's already have sugar and all the pre-made stuff in it. The other one, you're going to have more control over how much sweetness you can put into it. And they, cross-section, binging with Babish, baby. And they are very good. So, they're very moist too. I made these last night and they didn't dry out any. But yes, with that, we're going to get to the homemade version. I'm going to have you guys clean up your workstations as I clean out the batter bowl and we will get started. We're making good time. I still got basically an hour left. Oh yeah, I love How to Cook That. How to Cook That's one of my favorite little shows. So I can't see things right now, so just keep cleaning, folks. Now I know you're asking, Key, do you not have another mixing bowl? No, I do not. For I am not baking privileged. But I could be. If you go down to the vendor hall chats here in the PonyFest Discord, you see the CosmicKeyframe vendor channel, which has a link to my website, and pictures of all my products, which you can purchase. It supports me directly. It really helps given the lack of cons, and it can help me buy more mixing bowls. So, now we start the fun part, which is our homemade lemon lime cakes. Again, the base recipe was done by our awesome friend, Brony Chef, which I am altering because, like the Italian I am, we don't follow recipes. But we start with the baseline of 2 cups of flour, I'm just checking our timer. Boop, beep, bop, 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 bop. 2 cups of flour. Checking our cakes. Ooh, they are rising very nicely. We are going to have a tiny shot glass, or 1 teaspoon of baking powder, which what we have is a store brand, but baking powder always comes in a container that is, you never bake enough things to justify the amount of baking powder that is in this tiny thing. But that means you'll always have baking powder. Then we are going to add a pinch of salt. I'm just going to put a pinch amount in this bowl. You don't want too much salt. There we go. 3 whole eggs. And I want to signify or make clear, a lot of people would probably ask if they have made homemade white cake before, why are you not using egg whites? And that's because using the whole egg will add more moisture to your cake. I have the source of the Brony chef himself, so you know that it can be trusted. Now this is a more traditional cake mix, but we will be putting the nice lemoniness very soon. Half a cup of butter. I have softened the butter. I don't recommend fully melting it. You just want it to be soft for easy mixing. Because, like I said before, you people probably have a hand mixer or stand mixer and not just relying on pure arm strength like me. And we are going to want at least 1 teaspoon of vanilla. But as I am, this is where we get to the purely optional stages, because this recipe is a blank canvas. The base cake mix is very, very subtle. So you could put whatever essences, flavors, whatever you want in it. So I'm going to be adding an extra teaspoon of vanilla because I love the taste of vanilla. And we are going to start. You can add whatever the heck you want. If you want these to be strawberry cupcakes, you can put a strawberry essence, blueberry essence. Keep in mind, you probably want to, if you want to keep the rainbow dashness of it, separate them out and put the different essences to the different flavors. We are going to have one unified flavor here, which is different colors, but you can do whatever you want. So we're going to make this sweeter. And with that, firstly, I need to get my juicer out here for later fun stuff. We are going to get our bowl of sugar. Start adding some sweetness to this concoction. I personally like to add the optional stuff incrementally, and you judge by taste. Now, don't taste too much because there's raw eggs in it, but taste. I should use my half cup. Let's use the 1/3 cup. So we're going to start with 1/3 of sugar. And just start to mix the recipe just so everything can get to know each other. And again, do not overmix your cake batter. The butter will irritate you. But you just want to get things started mixing because we're going to add more wet ingredients. No, Melody, eggs are allowed in this recipe. You want 3 eggs. That is the baseline ingredient. But we're going to add our lemon lime soda, one for helping with the mixing process and also for flavor. So we are going to pour 1 cup of lemon lime into here. Just start mixing and making a mess. But you know what? What's baking? Got a little mess. I hate bakers who are like, oh, everything has to be super neat and tidy. You think people were neat and tidy when baking first began? I don't think so. I think people were cavemen going ooga booga and realizing certain things taste good together. Now we're going to have a quick taste. And it's pretty good so far. Very sweet. But we do want a little bit of citrus to offset our sweet. And with that, we are going to take out a lemon. Now we're going to start with some lemon juice, but we will also be using lemon zest. And we're just going to start with half a lemon. Take your juicer or your very strong hands and just get the juice in there. Oh, grip strength, be my guide. Get it nice and squeezed and mixa. How are you guys doing while I'm mixing? How much butter? Half a cup of butter. Make sure to get it softened. I will be posting the recipe after the show, don't worry. How are the questions? Hold on, you're going too fast. Please don't rage at me. Ooh, our timer for our cupcakes are done. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. These are beautiful. Now, the other recipe calls for the recipe to be at around 356, but we will get there. Now we're going to let the boxed ones cool for a while so they can be fully nice and spice. So I'm just going to move them to a cooler area right now. Right over here. And you will see them later. But first, back to mixa. Now, to remind people in the audience, what we have in here right now is 2 cups of flour, 3 whole eggs, half a cup of softened butter, a pinch of salt, a teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, the juice of half a lemon, a cup of lemon lime soda, and 1/3 of a cup of sugar. And we will be adding more. It's tasting pretty good right now. This is the whole part where you judge with your tongue. Personally, I think it needs more tang. So I'm just going to get more juice out of this lemon. I wish they had seedless lemons. You could also use pre-squeezed lemon juice. I'm just not good at doing things the easy way. And we are also going to do some lemon zest. Now you can use the half of the lemon you already used, but I would rather use the whole one for the sake of grip. And we will be needing our grater, which I swore I had right here. There it is. And we will be grating just eyeball about a half. We like to go by halves because you don't want to go overboard. It maybe go with some nutmeg, Sky, and you could definitely put it in yours. It's just that lemon and citrus and stuff of that ilk will keep the batter without color. And that's our main thing. because too much of, say, cinnamon or nutmeg or something that has that earthy tone may leak into the cake. That's why I am not using brown sugar, which is usually my go-to sugar for this. So you're going to want to mix a. And honestly, it's very hard to overmix when you're doing a hand mixing because, you know, it takes longer for the flavors to get to know each other. But you want to be maybe doing this on a slow speed if you have a hand mixer or a stand mixer. To have a taste. The lemon flavor is definitely coming out more. And like I said, these are not super sweet cupcakes. The ones that I made last night are not super sweet. And I think that's good given that our cream cheese frosting we will be making later is generally a lot sweeter. But I feel like this could use a bit more lemon juice. So we're going to cut our lemon once more and put about another half of the lemon in here. I am very much a person who likes to eyeball things. So just squeeze more of your lemon in there. Again, I recommend using a juicer because I'm dumb. Just like a pinch of salt. You should take what I say with a grain. And give a taste. Oh yeah, those are nice and lemony. I'm gonna put in just a sprinkle of sugar just to offset it a bit with some sweet. Taste. And I think we're there. With that, we are going to just repeat the method we did before and put our batters into separate bowls. How are we doing on time? We have about a half hour left, which is good. I'll try to speed through the process of the cake filling so we can get to the frosting, which is the fun part. So get your bowls. Boop, beep, bop, boop, and boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. Now take whatever scooper you are using for your batter. Make sure everything is just mixed. And pour them in to your bowls. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. This is my first time actually baking live. And what I aim to do is entertain, because I find baking really fun. It is something that is a pure hobby. Because painting and drawing, you know, while painting is also more of a hobby thing, it is my job, my career. Painting is just this, baking is just this relaxing thing that I can share with people, but it's not an expectation, which I think is fun. So once you get your batter all separated into bowls, start your coloring. So we will just speed through this. I am getting very low on red. I'm generous with red. Luckily, I have a pink one just for pink, so no need to worry about that. my blue. There we go. And we'll just use the pastel pink that we were using for the frosting for our pink one, because Chrissy's not good with proportions. Beat the devil out of your mixer. And we will start. Get your colors all nice and folded in. I am speeding through the coloring process, but that's because it's not much different than what we did before. Get that orange nice and ready. You're going to be trying macaroons soon. Ooh, nice. Let's see what we have in Girl Neck questions. But wait, I have a funny question, Key. If you watched the episode Rainbow Dash and Wonderbolt Academy, which main 6 impression was your favorite? Probably Pinky's. Pinky's was good. But I generally prefer anything with Pinky in it. And we got our yellow mixed. I wish I could just tell the PonyFest people, give me more time. Things need to break. I should have asked for a 2-hour panel. But you know, you live, you learn, you bake sweets. I'm making pretty good time. We still haven't hit noon yet. Everything just feels longer when you're in a kitchen with a hot oven, with windows closed, and you decide to wear black pants. No one ever said that I was a genius. Just a baker. There we go. Now mix our blue. Oh, man. This is my favorite part, just seeing the colors come to life. She brings a smile to your... Earthburger, I'm sure you're not ugly. We all view ourselves as uglier than what we really are to other people, because our brain hyper-focuses on the flaws that we have. Unless you're a narcissist, then you focus on only the good things about you. No balance. Mix your purple up. This purple is going to be more, I hate to say it, indigo than what our last batch was, because we ran out of our poor red. But you know what? Whatever works, works. Ooh, that was a good devil beating. And now we will mix our lovely, lovely pink. Given that it's pastel, we have to go a little bit overboard just to make sure that the colors show up. Because it will be a very, very light pink. Come on. I know you have a bit more red in you. There we go. There we go. A little goes a long way. Ooh, there we go. That's a nice pink. That is a nice pink. And with that, we get to filling our tins. We have a brand new cupcake tin that I bought just for this panel. And like last time, we will fill our tins. Now, the one thing that I have to give warning, you can fill these as much as you want, but keep aware that if you overfill and they puff up, because of the air, once it cools, you may get a divot in your cupcakes if you overfill them. However, you're covering them with frosting. But if you are a stickler for that level of aesthetic, just keep aware. We are at the top of the hour. Oh boy. The frosting should take really fast to make, which I am happy about. So we will take our spoons and just start glopping. At this point, cleanliness is not my first go-to. But you know what? It's for you people. Because I want you guys to see the lovely, lovely frosting that we're going to make, that Brony Chef generously provided in the recipe. And keep those lemons out, because I am going to put some lemon zest into our frosting for a little tang. Now we get our orange. You start to get into like a rhythm with all this. It's like the guy in the Bee Movie said, you know, you get stirred and you get a rhythm going. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, you people, stop saying you're ugly. This is a positive stream, and I will not be taking your self-deprecation. You're all beautiful. You are all uniquely made creatures on this earth with different DNA and RNA sequences that make you unequivocally you. And if that's not an achievement, I don't know what is. You are at the top of the food chain. Act like it. Everyone has flaws. But just as much as everyone has flaws, everyone has good things about them. But those good things only come out as much as you let them come out. And if you spend all your time insulting yourself for a weird dark humor coping mechanism, then people are going to start believing it. And the worst part is, then you'll start to believe it. To be serious, to get real for a second, in this time of lockdown, one of the under thought about issues is that of mental health, because it increases the problems for people who have diagnosed problems, and it is the first exposure of a mentally straining moment for a lot of people who aren't diagnosed, who are usually neurotypical. And it's hard. Trust me, I understand. But I think now more than ever, focus on self-care however you can, and mental health. If it's a hobby to distract your mind, if it's finding a social group to talk to, if it's simply, if you are on medication, making sure you take your meds on time. That is something that we all need to prioritize. And make sure that you check up on friends. Ask them how they are. Let them know that you're thinking about them. Because in this time, you need to all take care of yourself and look out for others. Because for once, we're all stuck in a situation together. And if you're someone in the service industry, the first responders, thank you. It is not fair that you have to be in this situation, that you have to be this essential business, that you don't get treated as essential as you are. And I know words only mean so much. But from the bottom of my heart and from PonyFest, we do thank you. And I hope that if you are watching this, if this is your day off, if you're off shift, that we're providing you some entertainment and some relief, some reprieve from the madness. And I hope the relaxing activity of baking does that for you. Even if it's just me rambling, I hope it helps. Chat, let's get some love for all of our essential workers out there. Give them some hearts in the chat. We are almost completely filling our tins. We only have 2 more colors left. You want them to be about 2/3 full, more or less. Little bit of our indigo. We'll appreciate them for now. I'm being such a slob. But it's my kitchen, and that's okay. I'm loving all those hearts, chat. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for coming. I'm sorry that I got real for a second. This is the silly fun times. But it was something that I wanted to say. That is good. That is better than the batter I made last night. Well, Twinny, thank you. I can only imagine how hard your job is right now and how much stress you're going through. And I'm sure other people in the chat salute you. And with this little pinky booze on the top, these are ready to go into the oven. Now, you can wait if you haven't preheated your oven, but we are going to bake these for 20 minutes on 356-degree heat. You can be a little bit off. It is a very exact measurement. Some people with digital ovens have it so much easier than us analog ovens. But, you know, just keep an eye on them. Check up. So let's put these in the oven, get the timer started, quickly clean off our surface because it's time for frosting. Whew. $20. They will literally come out the minute before the stream ends. But we are going to put our leftover batter aside. And for this stream, we are going to frost the box cakes, but you know what? That's okay. Frosting is a very simple process that is used universally. And for point of reference, here is some pre-made of the homemade cupcakes. You notice that there's less browning on the top of these, if any at all. And they are smaller, more compact. They are denser, definitely denser cakes, but once again, that cross section. They are very moist, very dense. Depending on how much sugar and extra ingredients you have, very subtle flavor by themselves, but they are good. They are very, very good. Almost the consistency of like a pound cake, honestly. But I love pound cake, so. I'm loving all the love in the chat, fam. So we are going to start our frosting process. With that, you are preemptively going to need 3 bowls because we are going to make 3 different colors of frosting. I don't like this pastel pink, so we're going to use blue, yellow, and green. So we're going to just keep these up here for now as I rinse off our bowl for the frosting. So get your work area clean, folks. and get messy. Whew. Got a splash of water on me. You know what? That's okay. That's all good. You won me over from AC's stream? Oh! That's an honor, but I do love AC. What did I got like two tags, and I don't know where the other one is. Oh, it's from another chat. Never mind. But yes, now we are going to prepare our icing, which is a cream cheese base. If you don't like cream cheese, you can make whipped cream, buttercream, anything of the sort. You can use Ready Whip and dye it. It's all up to you. I personally prefer cream cheese for my icing, so we are going to work with that. So what you're going to need is 1 half cup of butter, of our good unsalted butter. Now this is also a great lesson, and sometimes you're 1 step ahead and 2 steps behind because you forgot to soften your butter. So we're just going to quickly stick this in the microwave, not till melted consistency, just soften, so that way you're not killing your arm. This is mostly recommended if you are using your hands. If the recipe does stipulate you would rather whisk it so you have more control. I will repeat that when I go back over there. Don't be doing anything nefarious. But with that, we're also going to be needing half a cup of cream cheese. Luckily, cream cheese is naturally softer than butter. I put this in for roughly 20 seconds. It's nice and soft. So we are going to use half a cup of cream cheese, which is roughly 4 ounces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 ounces. Cut this boy. Nice. And just unwrap and throw it in there. Oh, that was a nice sound. Then we are also going to need 2 cups of powdered sugar. This is going to be fun because powdered sugar gets literally everywhere. It is the glitter of baking. We are going to use our half cup simply because the full cup is kind of covered in batter and I don't feel like cleaning anymore. So 1/2. Now this is 1 cup. One and 1/2. And 2 cups. Beat that devil! Get out of my house! We are going to need 2 ounces of heavy cream. And 2 ounces is around 4 tablespoons. So I'm going to use our dry ingredients. Or if you have a cup thing like mine that measures ounces, you can use that. 2 ounces of heavy cream. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Where did my vanilla go? Everything's escaping from me now that we're getting closer to the end. Where'd you go, Vanilla? You gotta face your fate, man. Everything's inevitable. I legit think I lost the Vanilla. Where did it go? This is some Dora Explorer stuff right now. Like, where is the Vanilla? Good. Where? But yeah, you're supposed to use Vanilla. Just follow me on that. Because the Vanilla decided to not be part of the show anymore. Hashtag comeback Vanilla. And we are going to use 1 tablespoon of lemon zest. Or if you're like me, eyeball it till you like it. So we're going to take one of our lemons that we already used and make it feel your pain. Brony Chef is probably cringing so hard at my eyeballing this right now. But you know what? I'm not the Brony Chef, but bake with me anyways. I'm legitimately concerned about where the vanilla go. Oh well, it's missing out on fun. Now we're going to take our whisk and whisk everything together until it's light and fluffy. And this will take a bit. But this will make very thick and nice frosting. Perfect for piping. So get that arm strength in there. I know that I'm soon going to get a 10-minute warning. That's okay. Oh yeah, we're getting there. This is what 2 years of arm workouts have led to. Baking frosting for bronies on the internet. Honestly, though, with the sugar, it's still very sweet. So give it a taste. Oh, that's good. Doesn't even need vanilla. It's really good. I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice in it, though. Just because I'm a lemony girl. I'm very sour. But also sweet. Sweet, but not too much. Which is the opposite of what most of my friends say about me. Most of my friends say you're too sweet for your own good. I think A&Y actually said that if he categorized me as a drink, I would be pink lemonade. The extra lemon juice really adds a good offset to the cream cheese. But yeah, by the time you get it, it'll be nice and thick and fluffy. And with that, we are going to do the last coloring of the evening or day. And we're just going to yeet some of this frosting into our bowls, which I don't know why I'm using a whisk for. A vast beast! Escape my grasp! There we go. Is that dramatic? Maybe. But it's my show. So just scoop them on in there. And it's basically the process we had before, kids and adults with kid hearts. And that's just mix our colors into our frosting. I will be using pastel yellow, pastel green, and pastel blue. But you can use whatever colors you want. If you want the entire Roy G. Biv scale, buy more food coloring than I did. That green is very bright for a not pastel-y color. And we are just going to mix them in, get the colors to know each other. Is that the 10-minute warning? 5-minute warning. Oh yeah. Well, point being, we're mixing them all in. And you're gonna want to put them into a piping bag and pipe our lovely, lovely creams. And it's very easy to get rainbow frosting, which is you take a piping bag or a Ziploc bag that you cut the edge off and you just glop it in. Like, focus on the sides, but you're just gonna glop them into the piping bag. I have a feeling we probably won't get to piping our icing onto our cakes, given that we have to get ready for the next show. But, I mean, these colors came out beautifully, and I will be putting on Twitter the finished piped cakes. But now, let me show you one of our box cakes with the beautiful colors. And hopefully, and our ice cakes, our homemade ones, are almost completed. So I do want to thank everyone for joining the show. The lesson here is Chrissy should have booked 2 hours, but I'm very happy with the results. And either way, I'm going to finish making these when I'm off camera. So I'll take any last minute questions. I looked at the counter behind the soda bottle. The vanilla's not there. The vanilla just disappeared. So let's end this by just yeeting some icing onto a cake. The old-fashioned method of just enjoying a bunch of sugar in one place. Give it a nice rustic look. There you have it. I put this on one of our homemade cupcakes I pre-made. Just take a bite. That's really good. That is really good. The frosting is so sweet. The cupcakes are a great vessel. I would recommend letting the frosting stiffen a bit, but the lemon in the cakes make them so nice, and the lemon zest in the frosting gives it such a zing, and they're so rich. It's so good. I will be putting the recipe on Twitter and in the neural net chat once I'm done, kind of like what Brony Chef did with his hot dogs. But I want to thank everyone for joining. I had such a fun time. I hope with the next PonyFest or whatever that I get to do this again. I will definitely acclimate more time, and maybe we'll do something Applejack related. This is Rainbow Dash, so I'll do a poll seeing if we want Pinky or Twilight or Applejack or Fluttershy for our next themed dish. Maybe I'll do Discord or a villain. And yeah, like I said, thank you to Brony Chef for helping me with ideas and everything. Check out my vendor hall down in the vendor chat. I appreciate any product order. We have posters, cutouts, buttons, charms, a limited edition Animal Crossing charm that we are selling and all that. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of PonyFest, everyone. Bye-bye.